Hey everybody, long time no see. It has been, wow, over a year I think since I made a video. Time flies. We haven't done very much yet this year. We went to Alma, we went up north to the cottage. That's really it. But we're just a couple weeks out from my 3-month vacation, so things are happening and times of travel and whatnot are coming. And so the repairs and the modifications have started. And today, what we're doing is we are replacing my sewer hose holder, which normally goes right here. You got this little door, you open it up, and there was a pipe in here where the sewer hose would go. The first year, I think, that I had the RV, or the second year, whatever it was, I have modified that thing. Originally, the pipe just went from this door straight in and hit the frame, and that was it. So he had literally from the outside of the body to the frame was the only length he had, and my hose was too long. So what I did was I cut the end of the pipe off, I added 2 90s to create a U-bend and brought the pipe back to the body again. So basically doubled the length, and that was fine. My pipe fit just fine there. But I made the mistake by not adding support. I added weight, but didn't add support. And on our last long trip, we're driving on the highway, and the thing breaks off, goes down under the wheels, shatters into a million pieces, and flies everywhere on the freeway. So that was that. So we're doing it again. We're doing it a different way. Here's our plan. We've got this piece of PVC pipe here, real lightweight, and we've got this little thing here, which was a vent. I have cut off all the little, I don't know how well you can see that. There were these little slats that went by, you know, to create a vent for the end of the outside. So this thing just happens to fit perfectly in this hole. I mean, it's like it was made for it. It's amazing. And the coupler on the hose does not fit through it, but the main part of the hose does. So the plan is to take this little door off and then use these two things combined to make a new pipe. And you can't really see in there because it's dark, but the plan is to send the pipe in, and there's a large gap between the frame and the floor, and we're going to send the pipe right in between the two. And we've got basically the entire length of the RV to make that happen. So that's the plan. The first thing we got to do is pull this thing off by removing these screws around the outside, and then I'll show you the next step once we get there.
We're recording.
There we go. It's not even caulked or anything because this is just aluminum here. It's all exposed to the air, so there's no need for caulk or anything. So that makes things a lot easier for us. Now the next thing is going to be to make sure that the pipe fits in the spot we want it to fit. There is what appears to be a gas line and a wire harness in there somewhere. I don't think you're going to be able to see. Oh, you can see, yeah. So you can see that gas line on the right and the wiring harness to the left. The pipe hopefully will fit right between them. And we will test fit this right now. I can't see a damn thing. Look at that. Perfect. Obviously the pipe is too long, we got to cut it to length, but it fits in there just right.
Hold on, genius. Measure from there out, or mark it so you know how much you need to take off.
Well, we don't need the entire length, the entire width of the RV. We only need the length of the sewer hose. So we got to get the sewer hose and lay it out and cut it to length based on the sewer hose. I mean, why have so much extra? Because we got to also account for the length of this, which goes inside. So it's better to just only have what we need. That way we've got plenty of room to play. So, all right. All right, so we've got the hose laid out, and basically we're going to give it an extra foot or so, give or take. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to make sure it's long enough that maybe some bouncing or anything like that, the hose doesn't hang out, because you know it's quite flexible. So we're going to give it an extra little bit just in case of any movement of the hose. Now this actually isn't PVC. This is some sort of lightweight plastic. I'm going to see if I can cut it with this. I doubt I can. I am wrong. Wow. Well, that was crazy easy. This is not PVC pipe like I thought it was. This is actually designed for weeping tile, which goes around the outside of your house, down by the foundation. And as water drains down your foundation, it's supposed to go into the weeping tile and then away from the house. Now, a lot of these things you'll see will have holes drilled in them. This is one of the solid ones, which I believe would be used as a connector pipe, not as an actual weeping tile pipe, but it's the same material, built the same way. It just doesn't have the holes in it. So it's real lightweight, just weighs absolutely nothing, but it's strong enough to hold the hose, which is what we want. So now, what I think I'm gonna do at this point is I'm gonna take this little flange that I've got, I'm gonna stick it in here, and I'm gonna rivet it in from the inside. So we'll have to drill some holes, and we'll stick the rivets from the inside out. That way, there are no sharp edges in here that are gonna catch on the sewer hose and cause problems getting it in or poke holes in it or anything like that. So hopefully I can fit my rivet gun in here and stick a couple of rivets. Not gonna take many, just a couple. So I think that's gonna be my next step. All right, we'll get back to you in a minute. All right. Okay, folks, so the plan is this. We gotta attach, first of all, we gotta permanently attach this plastic ring to this metal pipe. And the only way to do that, again, is with rivets. So I'm gonna drill a couple of holes, put a couple of rivets in there just to hold that in. It's not gonna be under any sort of pressure, so it doesn't have to be super strong, but it does have to be strong enough to hold. So, I've got my 5/16 drill. I've got these rivets here. In case you've never done rivets, you look on the box and it says 5/16 rivets. I don't know how well you can see that there. So 5/16 is the width of the rivet, so that should be the size drill bit you use. So I got a 5/16 drill bit, and all I gotta do is drill a couple of holes. Hopefully not through my knee. Put it forward. Okay. Now, because we want the hose, the sewer hose, to slide in and out of here unfettered and without any sharp edges, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off any excess steel or aluminum that's out on the inside, just in case. I'm going to trim off the excess here. That's kind of not easy to trim. Just trimming the little burrs and stuff that come off of there. It's not going to be a lot. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the rivets in from the inside rather than the outside, because this flat, that little flat ring is all that's going to be on the inside once this metal stem pops off. But the other side, this is going to be sticking out. So if we put it in through here, then that all will be sticking out through there, and it will block the sewer hose. So we got to put it in from the inside out, and it's a very tight fit for some reason. Wait a second, maybe these are, make sure I'm using the right rivet here that I drilled for, 5/16. There we go. Very tight fit, and that's the point. It has to be a tight fit for the rivet to do what it does. It expands and locks in place. So if the hole is too big, the rivet can't expand enough to hold. So you have to cut a hole that's only barely big enough. All right, so I've got the rivet through there. Next thing you do is you take this little rivet gun and you stick that little hole, stick that stem in that little hole somehow, hopefully, like that, okay? And then we just, every time I squeeze it, it's pulling on that stem, and that little ball on the end is widening the rivet until it can't go any further, and it pops off. There, see?
Hold on. Oh yeah.
So now all you got is that little thing there, and you got that thing sticking out the other end. So that will allow the sewer hose, and then you just drop the little, damn it. Sometimes it's hard to get out. Oh, for heaven's sake.
It comes out the back.
Does it?
Turn it over.
It comes out the back a lot easier than back out the front. I knew that.
That's why I'm supervision, well, as your labor.
I knew that. Trim off more of this. I gotta make sure to trim off all this so that the rivet sits flat and doesn't stick out too much. Boy, that really doesn't want to come off of there. Ugh. Wow, that's really... Ah, there we go. Okay, got the second one in. And we repeat the process. Wow, look how well that works. Oh man, that's uncomfortable. Okay, so we got both rivets in, and we've got this little bit sticking out on the outside. Now the problem we're gonna have is that this is not gonna fit all the way in there now with these rivets sticking out. Yep, that's what I was afraid of. So I'm hoping I can trim off enough that they'll still hold and still fit through there. So we'll see if I can do it this way.
You're really making this up as you go, aren't you?
I always make it up as I go. I pretend I know what I'm doing, but I don't have a clue. Most of the things I end up doing on RVs, it seems, has never been done before, so I have to make it up as I go. I mean, who's ever done this before? Oh boy, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to trim off enough. We might have to rethink what we're doing here.
You might have to make little grooves in the plastic.
I might. I'm trying, because you can't cut it off too much, otherwise there's nothing holding the rivet in. So I got to trim off enough, hopefully, to fit it through, because there is a small gap, but it is a very small gap. If I trim off too much, the rivet won't hold.
We could take your hacksaw and cut 2 little channels in that those rivets fit into.
Yeah, maybe. We might have to do that. I got to be very careful because the plastic on this is very old and already cracking, and because of its age, it gets dry and brittle. So I'm trying to do this without modifying this at all.
It seems very unlikely you could get that new part on Amazon.
No, I don't think you can. Yeah, I think we're still...
How close are we?
Not very close. It's surprising. I thought there would be more space. I mean, it looked like there was more, but there's not. Very little space.
All right.
So I think we're going to have to notch this in such a way that these rivets fit through. Or we just leave it sticking out a bit.
Here, let's see.
You can kind of see that's as far in as it'll go with the rivets in there. There's about a finger's width of space between this outer flange and the back of this box because the rivets are hitting it.
I don't like that.
I don't either.
I say make 2 channels 180 degrees from each other in the plastic and slip it in there.
It's not a perfect 180 degrees either. It's more like 170 degrees.
Oops.
Well, no, because I had to because of there was something, I don't remember what it was, but there was something I couldn't do it.
Well, find a way to mark it and
we
got to try.
We'll have to figure out a way to notch this without shattering it. So we will figure something out. We'll come back to you once we have. All right, are you recording?
I am.
Okay, so here's the plan, guys. This is totally not the way tools were meant to be used, but here we're going to use them. The idea we have is to use the drill bit, the same drill bit I used to make the holes for the rivets, to basically grind little notches in this plastic here. We batted around several ideas, hacksaw, saber saw, possibly even cutting off this entire thing. none of it really works well, and we got to be careful because, as you can see, it's already cracked along here from when the original pipe broke off. So we have to be very careful not to make this worse. So I'm going to hopefully make a little notch right here with this drill bit, just enough that this little bit of rivet here can sit inside it. This is going to be tricky, and here's fingers crossed that this is going to work.
That worked surprisingly well.
Thank you for your sympathy.
I'm laughing with you.
I don't think we're quite there yet, but you can see it's working. We're just wearing a small groove. Oh, it's going to work perfectly. You can't see it, but it fits in there just like a glove. This is going to work really well. So we just got to take our time and wear it down. We want to make sure we're not putting too much stress on the bit or on the plastic. We're just going to slowly wear it down. All right, what I think we ought to do now that we've established where this one's going to be, we ought to mark it and start going with the other one. That way we know exactly how far we have to go, and we don't go too far or not far enough. I think we got to go a little further, but I think we ought to get the other one started. Actually, I can already see where this is going to go. There's a little bit of markings here from, I guess it's some type of glue that they used. Right where these two little things meet, X marks the spot. I mean, it's amazingly perfect. It's right on that X, so I know exactly where to start. Oh, you know what I ought to do? I ought to do it from this angle. Sorry, I can't really...
Never use a tool for other than its intended purpose.
I would never do that. All right, we're making progress. We got two little grooves here. I think we got to go further with both of them, but let's test fit. See where we stand. Yep, we got to go a little more with both of them. Yep, and this one's off a little bit.
All right.
Yep. All right, we got our grooves. They are pretty much perfect. Just fit that guy in there. A little bit of push. And not only, that actually worked out perfect because the rivets are now holding this nice and stiff in here. It's not loose or anything like it was before. So I mean, just look at that. It's like, it's perfect. So now what we got to do is we got to stick it in this pipe here and put more rivets in. It might get a little tricky riveting this in because we got limited space to get the rivet gun in. So what I'm going to have to do is rivet as close to the end of it, get this pipe on all the way, and rivet as close to the end as I feel safe to do so. The other thing we're going to do is I've got washers sitting over there. I'm going to put a washer on the end of the rivet. That way the rivet is not holding against the plastic, it's holding against the metal of the washer. Because this is such thin plastic, I mean, you saw me cut it with a knife. Rivets are really not going to hold it real well because it'll expand and contract too much. But the washer ought to be sufficient. So I think 4 rivets on this ought to be good. So we'll get back to you in just a minute. All right, so this is how it's going to look. I haven't riveted or anything yet. I'm just sort of test fitting everything. This is going to be the ultimate product, which should work beautifully, but we just sort of realized what we ought to do is stick this into the RV and make sure it fits as planned. Make sure that we're not off center or anything like that, because just in case we might have to, you know, turn this or something. So before we rivet it in, we need to test fit it. So let's go out and do that.
It's wet out here. Who ordered rain?
I thought you were God.
No, but I'm a close personal friend.
Okay, see, we do have a problem. It's not centered. So, what I think we're going to end up having to do is that. Which actually is fine. This flange is not attached to this, so I can go ahead and rivet the pipe as planned, and it just won't be 100% flush. But
That'll work fine.
that will
Look
work
at that.
just fine. And, well, normally I wouldn't pick this up without gloves, but it got rinsed, so, and it's a brand new hose. What difference does it make?
Look at that.
All right, that's how it's going to work. So now we just got to finish the job. All right, so the first thing we got to do is drill holes so that we can stick the rivets in there. And I want to get the rivets as close as I can to the end, because that way I can be sure to get the rivet gun in there. But I don't want it too close, because I want to make sure there's enough material to hold it on place. So you got these little rings. I'm going to go to the second ring, and hopefully that will work. Sometimes you just got to go for it and hope it works. What do you think? Should I drill one, put the rivet in, drill the second one, put the rivet in?
100%. I was about to suggest that. And if I may correct something, it's not sometimes you have to try it and see if it works. It's most of the time.
Yes. Well, the voice you're hearing is my father, by the way. He's my senior technical advisor, and by senior, I mean old.
I resemble that remark.
Yes. Oh, I put the washers over here already. All right. So, these rivets are really not quite long enough. I really should have slightly longer ones, but I'm pretty sure I can make it work. So, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stick the rivet in here, and then I'm going to put it in. Oh, this is going to be tight.
Yeah, I hope there's enough room.
It's going to be close. Oh, boy. I don't think that's going to work. I think I'm going to have to try sticking the rivet in, and hopefully I can get the gun on there. Oh, man, that's tight. Okay. Oh boy.
No? You might have to put the gun on first. Here's what you do.
I'm all ears.
Pull it both back out. Now, okay, collapse your gun. Close it all the way. Now stick the rivet in there.
Will the rivet go in there with it closed?
No, not all the way, but it'll go in there enough. It'll go in there enough for you to get now the rivet pushed into place. And then you can open the gun up and you'll already be on the rivet.
Yes.
All right. Now put your washer on, open the gun, and that should work.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know. It's not going to get much of a grab.
I don't think it didn't grab the washer. think we need longer rivets.
We have to go get longer rivets.
Yeah, we do.
You're kind of riding the tiger with that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut
Can
it
you get
off.
it? Can you get it back out?
No.
Then just leave it in.
Well, I'm trying to. I gotta finish getting the. I gotta get it to break off in order to get the gun back out.
All right. So we've been to Home Depot once, but everybody knows every project requires at least 2 trips to the hardware or the Home Depot. So we're about to make our second trip.
That actually holds a little bit. I might just leave that in there, then put washers on the rest of them. Might be I'll put a second one or something like that, but
Yes.
I'm not gonna bother pulling it out.
No. Why do
All
that?
right, so we gotta go get longer rivets. We'll go do that and we'll be right back. All right, folks, so we went to the hardware store. The only other rivets of this size that we were able to get were these, it says 1/4 to 1/2, so I don't know why it's, okay, anyway. Point is, here are the rivets we were using. Here's the rivets we bought. You see they're the same width and everything, same diameter, they're just a lot longer. Now the problem we're gonna have is, as you recall, I had a hard time even getting this short one in there because the space inside the pipe is so narrow. So what we're gonna do is we're actually going to make the hole slightly larger by just moving the drill bit around, kind of elongating it. Because, the reason we can do that is because we're gonna put these washers on. The washer is what's gonna be holding it, not the hole itself. So if the hole is a little bit too big, it's okay. As long as it's not bigger than this flange, everything should be fine. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I will put another hole right next to this one that didn't work out. All right, so I've made the hole just a little bigger, not too big. Okay, I'm gonna remove any burrs in there. Now we should be able to stick that in there. Well, that's interesting.
I think you might have to elongate a little bit more, but I might be wrong.
We'll give it a shot here. We'll see how it goes. We gotta find the hole. No cracks. There we go.
Hey, that did work.
And we stick the washer on there, and hopefully this will go as planned. You always want to make sure that the rivet gun is all the way down to the base of the rivet before you squeeze it again. Go, more. Come on, baby. Break. Jeez. There we go.
Are we
That's
successful?
beautiful. We are successful.
Let's see the rivet. This side.
So, because it was such a long rivet, it widened a lot more, and that's nice and tight. Now, I'm very pleased with that. That should be perfect. So now I'm going to do that 3 more times. Alrighty, folks, I think we've got her done. My only concern at this point is whether or not there's enough play here for that to fit, because as you recall, it wasn't quite straight. It should be enough from the looks of it. I didn't really consider that till just now.
If not, you drill out the rivets, cut it a little shorter, and try again.
If that happens, I will notch this.
Ah,
Notch this out, and then that way it'll go further backward.
oh, that's a good idea.
If it needs anything, it won't need much. So, yeah.
Let's go find out.
Let's go test fit it.
Then all you have to do is put your screws back in and you're done.
Yep. Beautiful.
Look
There it
at
is.
that.
It's nice and flush. It's in there securely. It's not moving. It's perfect.
How about that?
It's everything I hoped it would be.
All right, grab your drill and you'll be done.
All right. There we go. We are all done. So now we just put the hose where it belongs, into its new home.
All right, how much was that job in total? Cost?
Oh, hang on. There we go. Now it's good. Total cost, the pipe was 20 bucks. The flange was, I think, $5. And the rivets were $5, and I didn't even use them all. So call it 30 bucks, all told, all in. Obviously, if I were to pay to have that done, it would cost quite a bit more. This job went unbelievably smoothly. Things don't usually go this easily and according to plan. We didn't really have to change our plan at all. We really got this right on the first time. If you recall, those who are familiar with my videos, the African Queen had to get an entire sewer system completely redesigned. The toilet system had to be completely redone. That was quite a bit more complicated. We managed to make that work. But yeah, so that job is done. We're now one check off of our, super long list. I've got a list about as long as my arm of things that this thing needs, and I'll get to them one at a time. But that's the one for today. I hope you enjoyed. Check out facebook.com/ramblingmichigander. I post there occasionally, and keep an eye out for more modification videos as we go. Well, take care, everybody.